Although we've come to the end of Riverboat, still I can't let you go. Fourth on 4th and 1, maybe on 4th and 2, maybe on 4th and 2. Hey y'all, I got a couple questions for y'all. Rodney,
what's up?
If you've only won 4 games all year, and 2 of those games came against me, what does that make me?
Unlucky.
Don't worry. I got another question for you. If you scored a season high 40 points against me today, again, what does that make me? If you scored if you have a season high in rushing yards against me all season, what does that make? If you have not had
my female dog.
If you have not had a rushing touchdown in almost 2 seasons and you scored one finally against me, what does that make me?
In the words of the great West Coast rapper from Oakland, Too Short.
I got one more question.
What's up, man?
If I'm a quarterback and I continuously throw the ball at my receiver, but he can't catch it because there are 3 other defenders around him, what am I like? What's wrong? What's going on with me?
You're mentally incompetent.
Mentally incompetent.
Wow.
So as a head coach, how do I fix this mental incompetence?
So if I'm a head coach and it wasn't my job, I wouldn't really care. If I was an interim guy, I wouldn't really care because I'm going anyways.
Look, welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Under Construction.
Hey, y'all.
I'm Vince, the realtor. To my left is Rodney Richardson, a.k.a. Ride Pops. To my right is Jamal. We're probably going to go with sad black fan Darby again today.
I think perturbed, angry,
depressed.
And off camera, we have our production manager, Mr. Tyrone Kaiser Kirk. Say what's up, Kirk.
What's good, y'all? I am not related to the baby.
And we're going to try and give you a quality episode today. But unless you missed the game, Carolina took another loss, moved themselves to 5-8. I think 5-8 this year after taking a 20-4 woodshed slacking to the now 4-9 Atlanta Hawks.
So you want to hear something interesting? We won't have back-to-back winning seasons for at least another 2 years.
At least another 2 years. Minimum another 2 years.
Can I tell y'all something?
What's up?
Y'all are not helping with me right now, man.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to pour everything out.
So what we're going to do, we actually got a lot to talk about today. You know, coach got fired. Some personnel got moved around. You know, there's some trade rumors going on. So let's try and pick our spirits up and let's try and get the people what they want.
Right? Let's go!
So first and foremost, Carolina Savior, Mr. Kyle Allen, 28-41. 293 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 1 lost fumble. Finished with the QBR 76 today. Christian McCaffrey, 11 rushes, 53 yards, 11 receptions for 82 yards. DJ Moore actually had another good game today, but he only had 4 catches for 81 yards. Eric Reed led the team in tackles again. He led the team in tackles.
This is not a good thing.
He tied with Luke. He tied with Luke today.
We'll
give him that.
He tied with Luke.
But it's still bad that he was amongst the leader.
And guys, go.
Why is Kyle Allen passing the ball 41 times?
Why is Chris McCaffrey only running the ball 11 times?
Why is Mr. Greer not playing at all?
Why are we giving almost 170 yards rushing up?
Why is Luke Kuechly even playing past the second quarter?
Why are any of the premier players playing past second quarter?
Why did the starters even play today?
Why are we doing this?
it feels good.
Why is Atlanta our father?
Why didn't they switch to New Orleans
49ers
at halftime?
Look, I'll go. Rodney, a couple of weeks ago, you made some very, very good points on why Ron Rivera should not have kept his job. And I mostly agree with all those points. Let me confess to y'all that I have changed my tune a little bit in the last, week or so. Last week on this show, I question whether or not this team is less talented than we think they are. Now, I don't want to overreact because we have a one-game sample after Ron Rivera has left the building. So I don't want to overreact and say, look, I told you guys it was the players. I don't want to say that. But at the same time, I'm thinking more and more and more and more. Like, maybe these guys that we have on this roster are just not as good as we would like them to be.
True.
I have alluded to the fact that K'Wan Short's injury has been way bigger than anybody has made it. We see these gashing holes. If I see one more team ranked 25th or below, gaining almost damn 200 yards against the Panthers, I don't know what I'm going to do. Interim coach can't fix that.
Nope.
Ron Rivera couldn't fix that.
Nope.
Eric Washington couldn't fix that.
Nope.
Again, guys, somebody please give me a logical argument explanation as to why you think that we have the talent to actually win a division, let alone be in the playoffs.
Because the people on the radio and the Panthers fans are so blind that any move that we made would be assumed to be a great move. Me and Vince called it this offseason. We're not going to make the playoffs, and I hate to be vindicated, but we're right.
Yeah.
Hold on. To be fair, though, that prediction wasn't looking so good 5-6 games into the season.
There's 16 games into the season.
No. Even still, because when Kyle Allen came and he went on that 4-game winning streak, I was still saying we wouldn't make the playoffs, and Roddy co-signed because the rest of the NFC was looking so great. The NFC West at one
we did say.
Yeah, the NFC West at one point was looking like they may send 3 teams to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, side note. You remember I said that the
Rams won't make the playoffs either.
Negro Dollars.
And the Saints, at a minimum, have had at least a 2-game lead on us the entire season.
Right.
And I think it was the game where they lost to the Bucks. We had a chance to close that gap. And I can't remember who we played, but it was a team that we should have beat. And we ended up losing that game.
All right, something that's been on my mind today. For some reason, the Amazon Prime special has been resurfacing on social media lately, and there's this clip of Ron Rivera basically getting in the Panthers players' asses at halftime. And I look at that, and that's kind of a microcosm of what I've been thinking the last couple of weeks. We've said a lot about these players not winning their one-on-one battles. Mm-hmm. We've seen it the last 6 or 7 weeks, man. So the more and more I think about Ron Rivera's firing, I'm just like, I understand things were getting stale. I understand Tepper's need to not feed into mediocrity. I get that. But at the same time, I'm second guessing just a little bit. Now, I'm not saying I totally disagree with the firing. Please don't take it that way. But at the same time, man, I just don't know if I put all the Panthers' failures on Ron Rivera, man. I'm sorry. I'm changing my tune a little bit on that.
I don't think there's anything Rivera could have done to keep his job. Panthers could have gone undefeated and won the Super Bowl. I think Tepper wanted his guys.
No. I don't believe that because if you look at
I think Tepper wanted his guys.
Yeah, his interview said, "I want to put my stamp on the organization."
No.
Turn around, he kept Marty Hurney.
He didn't say he wanted to put his stamp on the organization. He said he wanted to wait before he made that first football move.
However, he might have said I wanted to wait, but in the back of his mind, he's like, let y'all slip up and not make the playoffs.
We've been hearing rumors about Mike Tomlin for weeks now.
But where's the logic if Ron Rivera is winning? Where's the logic in getting rid of him?
No,
where's the logic in that?
Because I'll tell you why. If Ron Rivera wins, that's not Tepper winning. That's the previous regime. That's Hurney. That's Richardson.
Hurney and Richardson.
We do it all the time with Gettleman and Hurney. Well, that wasn't really Hurney's team. That wasn't really Gettleman's team. The same thing would have been said of Tepper. And Tepper coming from Pittsburgh, being a competitive guy, he wants, when the Panthers become successful, he wants people to say, wow, look at what Tepper did.
I can't rock with that. I don't see a
win is a win. He wants
exactly.
to win. He wants to look. It's if we won a Super Bowl this year, it's still credited as David Tepper being the owner ultimately.
But it doesn't mean anything. Anybody can be the owner.
It means everything to him.
That's exactly my point. It means everything to him.
If that was the case with Tepper, I genuinely believe he makes some of these moves as soon as he comes in. Because if you look
especially after last year,
if you look at the interview that he did, he said there's two parts to running a football franchise: the business side and the football side. And he said, when I came in, I wanted to make an immediate impact on the business side. And he has made an impact on the business side
in a big way.
when
way.
it comes to him being here in the city. But he said he didn't want to be too brash. He wanted to wait and feel things out before.
But
he made a move.
no owner is going to come in week one, fire the most successful coach in franchise history. Of course, he's not going to do that. Now
Mediocre players.
The bar isn't exactly too high.
But
This is Carolina we're talking about.
That's true, but hey, there's only one stat that matters: the W, right? So the thing is, it would have been remiss for him to do that. Now he's got plausible deniability. Well, Ron Rivera wasn't getting the job done, so now is the time to enact my plan.
That's my point.
He hasn't gotten the job done the past 4 years.
Yeah, but that goes
you
back.
Can't give him a pass no more.
Look, you might not want to give him a pass.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying, this was all. This was just Tepper was just delaying the inevitable. He's always wanted to bring his guy. And now we see with the reports that's coming out, it's not just Ron he's looking at replacing. Hurney's probably gone. He wants to bring in those Pittsburgh guys. He knows, here's what I want my football franchise to look like.
See, I'm kind of unclear about the Hurney thing.
I think we all are.
He gave him credit for being like an excellent college scout. The first round pick, he can make it for me every time.
Right.
But the problem is, like, Tepper allowed Hurney to sign Shaq to that big extension. And if he's about to leave, I don't let my OGM sign the guy.
I think it's a position change because, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Panthers hire an analytics director this season?
I think they might have.
I think they did.
It wouldn't surprise me. Hurney is not an analytics guy. He's an old school scout kind of guy.
Right.
So there's some value to having him on the team, but Tepper has made it clear he wants the franchise to be analytics run like a lot of.
We actually heard that on the broadcast today about how the Panthers may be turning the corner and becoming more of an analytics-driven type of team. I hate analytics personally, but if they believe that's going to be the future of the franchise, then go for it. We'll see what happens.
Analytics has its place. It needs to be mixed with that eye test too.
Right, with football guys.
If you use it properly in its context, it works.
So speaking of eye test, today obviously was the first game that Carolina
My
played.
eyes are sore. They're bleeding. My
Ron
eyes are
Rivera.
bleeding.
So give me your guys' thoughts, if you guys have any, on the interim head coach, Perry. Give me his last name, y'all. Fuel. Yeah, give me your thoughts on him.
I wanted to gouge my eyes out today watching that trash because it's unfair to even assess the job he did today. It's the same Jimmys and the same Joes out there, and it was ultimately the same result. We got nothing different than what we have gotten the last 5 or 6 weeks, man. So I can't even make a proper judgment or assessment on Perry Fuel because. What was different today?
So if you can, Rodney, you go before I ask a question.
I'm rooting for you, Perry, from Belmont.
but you'll be a coordinator next year somewhere.
You'll be a coordinator somewhere. You're behind the 8 ball. You know this ain't your job.
I wish you all
the best.
So because of the current makeup of the team that we have right now, and nobody who's there obviously can make sugar out of this shit.
No.
Do you keep him going into next year to give him a fair, legitimate shot?
No. And the thing is, it might not even be fair, but I mean, fair is something you find with pigs at it. It don't matter if it's fair or not. He won't be here, and it's pretty clear Tepper is gonna make a major overhaul this offseason. So
it's much needed.
So
with that being said, do you guys have in mind any head coaches that you're looking at?
Oh, you don't say.
So we're gonna let Rodney take this one because he was pretty anxious about this.
So I wrote down three of the three options that came to my mind. The first one is Eric Bieniemy.
Okay,
he is the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. I'm intrigued by coaches that come from the Andy Reid tree. They can be innovative offensively. Tepper has mentioned that he would like to go with a more offensive-minded coach, which me and Vince agree with that we need to do. We need to change things up. The second guy is Greg Roman from the Baltimore Ravens, the offensive coordinator. You see what he's doing with Lamar Jackson. He's shaking things up, and analytics is part of his game. And the third guy, it pains me to say this, but this guy turns around programs. He turns around programs.
Say it, man.
Jim
Harbaugh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was 44-19, a 695 win percentage in the NFL. He's winning 72% of his game at Michigan. I mean, they can't beat Ohio State, but he's a damn good coach, man. It's only going to be for a short time.
Now
Look, Jim Harbaugh is the Larry Brown of the NFL, dog.
Without the title.
Without the title.
Now, real quick, when Harbaugh was in San Fran, who was his quarterback?
Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
Alex Smith.
It was Alex Smith, but he saw something. He knew, hey, I can use what Kaepernick does well, and we can ride this train until the wheels fall off.
Quick question.
And they did.
Wasn't Greg Roman his offensive coordinator too?
Oh,
He
wow.
was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Also,
okay.
Greg Roman was an assistant coach with who?
Ron Rivera?
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Yeah, he was.
1995, 2001.
He was.
Which is interesting because there was only two coaches on my list, and they were Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. I swear to God, those are the only two coaches I had in mind, man.
Of course, we know they're not going to pick any of those coaches.
Yeah.
Right? Of course not. Of course not.
Now, again, Rodney said it earlier. I'm all about. I think we need offense now. Have we ever had an offensive-minded head coach here?
We have George Seifert, and we see how that turned out.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad. However, to add some context to that, George Seifert, you have to understand, he came from, you want to talk about the diamonds of the diamonds in the San Francisco 49ers in the late 90s, mid-90s. You couldn't tell him anything. And listen, this commentary is actually coming from a player that I've heard speak about George Seifert.
The game passed him by.
The game passed him by, but you couldn't tell him that. You get what I'm saying? He had all this success in San Francisco. Him and Bill Walsh pretty much built the West Coast offense. So how are you going to tell somebody who had that much success, hey, man, you got to switch it up? You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, the last time we had an offensive-minded coach, it was him, but not the most what do you call it? Not the best guy to work with. So.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't really have all the analytics, but I looked into Chris Peterson. He just stepped down as a head coach for the Washington Huskies. And
that'll be the guy we hire.
Yeah, exactly.
I went and I kind of looked. I took a quick glance at him. He seemed he would be a good fit for what I want, in the coach. So
talk to me about it.
I'm not gonna lobby for him. I'm only throwing his name out there because if we do get him, I can like throw that in everybody's face.
Listen, I have a curveball here. I don't believe we're in the running to get him. I don't even know if the guy's gonna leave his current job. But what if Lincoln Riley showed some interest in the Carolina Panthers?
It's not happening.
I don't believe it's going to happen. But what
I don't
if?
think so. He's only been in Oklahoma for 3 years.
But what
If
if?
he leaves, it's going to be for the Cowboys.
But what if?
If he does it,
I have one question. Could you not be excited about Lincoln Riley and possibly working with Cam Newton next year? Would that get you excited?
Hold that thought.
All
We
right.
will come back to that in a few minutes, all right? But since we're talking about head coaches, I want to shift gears and talk about another head coach in the NFL that we talked about a couple weeks ago, okay?
All right.
So we had a topic, we had a conversation about Mike Tomlin.
So we're done talking about the game?
so no, hold on. I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have a question for you guys.
I mean, catch up.
So I was listening to the radio on Thursday or Friday, and my neighbor so happened to call in, and he actually works with the Top Cats, and so he poses.
How do you get that job?
Well, you got to be fit.
No.
Okay, so he worked out. Got you.
Counts me out.
No, I'm not gonna go there. Cancel me out 3 times. But he says that Ron used to give the Top Cats pep talks. Everybody in the building was sad and everything like that. And he asked an important question in the head coach: how much does their character matter, especially for the community of Charlotte?
Right.
Seeing as we've been a family-based organization.
I was gonna say real quick, whoever Tepper picks has got to be more than an X's and O's guy, because the people. It's funny, coaches get fired in the NFL all the time, and never have I seen players from other teams that used to play for that coach come out and publicly speak about how much they love playing for that. Even Josh Norman, who was riding the bench in Washington,
is deteriorating in Washington. Yeah.
He was like, hey, Ron Rivera, everything that he meant to him. You just don't see that a lot. So whoever comes in as a coach, he's got to be more than just a guy who is good at coaching football. He's got to be, a high character person like Ron Rivera was. So that's gonna be important. That should be important to Tepper.
I want to make one more quick point when it comes to that. And I'm sorry, Vince. I mean,
you're good. Go.
The quick point I want to make is I find it interesting how Panthers fans and sports fans in this town in general, I don't want somebody who's going to be nice to the players because they all thought Ron Rivera was too nice to the players, which I don't believe one bit. But you get a guy like Jim Harbaugh, who is not a likable guy at all, but who is a hell of a coach. I just wonder how that would work in the community of Charlotte.
Well, as far as nice coaches go, there are coaches out there who seem to play the part as being like the
players coach type guy.
Now, what's the opposite of a players coach?
Bill Walsh. George Seifert.
Okay, so meet in the middle, and you get Mike Tomlin. You get a Mike Tomlin.
No, Mike Tomlin's not a players coach.
I think he
Where's
is.
Antonio Brown? Where's Le'Veon
Bell?
But he allowed them to be the prima donnas that they were until they just worn out their welcome.
Being a players coach is more than just letting your players be who they want to be. I think being a players coach is because there's more people on the team than just those guys. You have to. I was just saying we never saw any drama like that here under a guy like Ron Rivera. We never saw it under John Fox either. And we had Steve Smith.
Right.
So we did see in the dumb case.
But I saw a broken eye socket in the article.
But it was quickly diffused.
I mean, I seen Greg Hardy beat the hell out of that girl.
But at the same time,
that's different than prima donna letting prima donnas come and essentially run your team,
right?
Or favoring a player. I think one of the biggest things I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the biggest mistakes they made was that they acquiesced so much to Ben Roethlisberger. And don't get me wrong, he's a Hall of Famer, but I think that led to them losing two better players in Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
I think Antonio Brown is batshit crazy.
Oh no, he is. Yeah,
I agree with both of y'all's points. I agree with both of y'all's points.
I get it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Mike Tomlin. Okay, so we had a heated conversation a couple weeks ago about whether or not he's a legitimate coach or whether or not he's underrated. And Ronnie, I think you were in support of Mike Tomlin and what he's done. Yes. I was pretty critical. So right now they're 7-5, and after we get done recording this pod, they're probably gonna be 8-5 because they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. So with all of those guys gone, with Roethlisberger hurt right now, like let's talk about it. Like, are we staying pat with where we were a couple weeks ago?
I feel vindicated. This guy is an excellent coach, man. He's that guy. He's the leader of men. He's the true leader of men. We need someone like that here. He's only 47 years old. I think age matters to Tepper. One thing I think Tepper wants stability long term.
Right.
I'm gonna ride it out with this coach, and we're gonna build something together. And so I feel vindicated. Like he has taken the second and third string quarterbacks and won games. We thought they were dead in the water, stupid for trading for Minka Fitzpatrick. They look like freaking geniuses.
Yeah.
I
think the proof is in the pudding, man. Let's not forget he has had Mason Rudolph and whoever's behind him as his two quarterbacks to work with this season. After all this drama, after all this Antonio Brown crap, after all the injuries they suffer, because let's be truthful, there's a lot of the Panthers faithful who've made so much of injuries and who we've lost. Even me, I've said Kawan Short many times, but the Steelers, they keep rolling, they keep winning. I mean,
So hold up. How much credit we gonna give them for beating?
I got you. Let Jamal keep.
Okay, I don't even have to name the teams off.
Yeah. Let Jamal keep going. Keep going.
No.
I'm listening. So, and my bad to steal your thunder.
No, you good.
Okay.
Look, y'all. I was just about to say the AFC is trash. However,
Okay.
But what matters more than anything?
Wins.
And I want to remind y'all of something. We did lose to West Meck Indians last week, so
and we lost to the Falcons twice. And we lost to Tampa week 1.
So,
and we lost to the Rams, who are not even in the playoffs.
So if Mike Tomlin, with all these losses that he's had to players, if he is still finding a way to win, no matter who they're beating or losing to, whereas Carolina is not, what is that saying about our organization?
Our organization is in a reshuffling phase. They have stability. They've built the program. They have an identity. Defense has always been, when Pittsburgh has been good, they've always had a good defense. Look at T.J. Watt, leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Minka Fitzpatrick is killing it.
He's also a leading candidate for dirtiest player of the decade.
Okay, so real quick, because we got to move on in a little bit. So as far as Pittsburgh go, they've beaten Cincinnati twice. They've beaten the Chargers. They've beaten the Dolphins. They've beaten the Colts, the Rams, Cleveland, and they're probably going to beat the Cardinals today.
That's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie.
Now, these are the teams that they've lost to. These are the teams they've lost to. New England, Seattle, San Fran, Baltimore, and then they got a loss to Cleveland as well. So, do you guys still stay where you?
I do. I'm gonna tell you why. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're losing to the teams they're supposed to lose to, and they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. It's that simple, man. So yeah.
So if they're doing what they're supposed to do, hey Charlotte Hornets, then is he deserving of all this praise if he's just doing what he's supposed to do? Because also keep in mind with the teams that they're beating. You got Cleveland sitting at 6-7 in the division, and you got Cincinnati sitting at a woe for 1-12. So it's a weak division in addition to the teams. Baltimore.
They took Baltimore to overtime, lost in overtime.
Yeah, and I think there's levels to it, man. There's nuance to it because one thing I can't really comment on. It's not like I watch Pittsburgh every week.
Yeah.
So I would much rather answer that question if I could see how prepared they look on the field.
Yeah.
One thing y'all are not going to argue with the Panthers is how unprepared we looked on the field the last month. So, yeah,
well,
they have it.
At the end of the day, like you guys said, they're beating teams that are supposed to be in spite of all the injuries, in spite of the players that they've lost. Speaking of losing players, there was a report that came out actually early this morning that said that the Carolina Panthers will actually entertain trade rumors for Cam Newton. So, Jamal, initial thoughts on that?
I find it laughable because it particularly said, it basically made mention of wanting a significant return back. What kind of return are you going to get back from a quarterback who has an injury history now, especially coming off the type of injury he is coming off from? What are you realistically expecting to get back from that? And
compensatory third,
right? And the thing is, like, I've made mention of the fact that if I'm the Panthers brass, I see exactly what's going on with that foot in the offseason before I even think about entertaining anything at that point. Let's see how healthy he is first. Okay, now if you don't believe he's gonna be the same old Cam Newton and there's gonna be a significant drop off, you got to do your due diligence, man. If you're in the mindset of David Tepper and you're going to do what's best for your long-term future of the franchise, you have to entertain that. Yeah. However, I think this article that came out, this report came out, is pretty premature right now, man.
The Panthers have 19 million reasons why to keep Cam Newton. The typical average starting quarterback is going for $30 million a year. Cam Newton, if healthy, is at a bargain deal for $19 million per year.
But that's a big asterisk.
That's a big asterisk.
If healthy.
That's why you have the off season. You have at least until March, April to see where he's at.
Right.
Use your draft capital to get a quarterback.
But who?
If possible.
So are you?
Jalen Hurts.
Would you seriously entertain drafting a quarterback in back-to-back drafts?
Yeah, I would.
If Will Greer couldn't beat out Kyle Allen for the second quarterback spot,
absolutely,
when it was basically given to him, I don't have confidence in that.
As far as As far as that goes, absolutely, because you do what, regardless of what position you draft for, if you have something that's a sure shot, you go get the sure shot, man.
Now with all these trade rumors and with the Kyle Allen train kind of slowing down, but it's still there. Has Cam Newton did anything to warrant these trade rumors, to warrant this conversation to begin with?
Not being totally forthcoming about his injuries. I'll say that, because it obviously affected his play. If his injuries don't affect his play, if there's no drop off in his play, we're not even talking about this today. So,
I'm to the point where he's so polarized, and even if he discloses injuries, people want him gone.
Well,
that's never wanted him here.
That's also true.
I mean, I just got to be honest, man. Like, if it's time, it's time. I'm at peace with it. It is what it is.
I won't be at peace with it. I'm telling you, if I wake up within the next 6 years and Cam Newton is not the starting quarterback, it is not because I just like with his body of work. Like you just made a case about Ron Rivera being the winningest coach in Panthers history, so we may have not done the best thing. Cam Newton is the winningest quarterback in Panthers history. He most passing yards, most rushing yards, most touchdowns.
Right.
He even has a better completion percentage than Jake Delhomme, and we know how this fan base feels about Jake Delhomme. So how can we justify these trade rumors with Cam when we literally 10 minutes ago say
I think
maybe
there's one thing that you could use to justify that. Never underestimate the relationship between a coach and the quarterback.
Yep.
And Cam Newton for his entire career has been tied to Ron Rivera.
Right.
Tom Brady, his whole career has been tied to Bill Belichick, Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin, Sean Payton, Drew Brees. So if you bring in a new coach, he might want a new quarterback that he can build a rapport with and kind of mold, and then that is. And I kind of think that Tepper knows that. Tepper looks and he sees, well, how did Pittsburgh do it? Well, we drafted Roethlisberger, and then we gave him a new coach, and then essentially, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Together. Right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he thought, okay, you know what, we can start. We're starting anew with a new head coach. Maybe we need to give him a new quarterback as well. Not to say there's anything wrong with Cam Newton, but maybe just a new fresh start, fresh coach, fresh.
See, if I'm a coach and I like to play a certain way, so say I'm Lincoln Riley and I want more of a pro style quarterback, not a dual threat. Does Cam Newton really fit my system?
Right.
Yes,
he has a shoulder injuries.
One thing I'll say, because and my bad for doing this, guys. We just got to keep everything rolling. I think Green Bay has a new head coach right now, and they're 10-3 right now.
Well, they got Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, they didn't get rid of their quarterback. Yeah, so. But look, real quick before we close out this section, we got Russell Wilson and the 10-2, I believe, Seahawks coming into town next week. So give me your thoughts on that.
47-3 Seahawks.
I'll go 42-16.
42-13 Seahawks.
I don't even care about the score. I just want to see Will Greer at this point. I want to see Will Greer, and I want to see Bonifant. That's it. That's all I want to see.
I'm with you.
But we know Will Greer's not going to be good, especially against Seattle.
No. I don't want him because I think he's going to be good or whatnot. I want him because we spent the third-round draft pick on the quarterback, and we haven't got to see him play. And we're not going to the playoffs. And Kyle Allen probably just fumbled his luggage while on his way to the bus. I want to see what the backups can do.
Tell us how you feel, man.
I want to see what the backups can do. All right.
Your comment has been intercepted.
But hey, listen, y'all. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be right back. All right. All right, y'all. We're back. We're gonna get into our lovable Hornets. I refuse to call them lovable losers. I'll let Ronnie do that the next time he set in. But let's talk about the Hornets and their last week of basketball. They're actually playing the the Atlanta Hawks right now as we record this podcast, but they went 1-2 so far. They took a loss on Monday to Phoenix, 109-104. Boy, that was ugly.
Oh,
then they beat Golden State 106-91 before losing to the Kyrie Irving West Brooklyn Nets, 111-104 on Friday. So, guys, give me your initial thoughts on this past week of basketball.
What I thought.
Okay,
I mean, we're a young team. We're going to give up leads. We're going to come back, take a lead, lose leads. I'm just impressed with the backcourt play of Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. Analytics aside, Terry Rozier has been balling. Both of these guys have been leading the team, and I just want Miles Bridges to kind of show up consistently.
Consistently is a key word. Consistently is a key word. Yeah,
and we need some front court help. So
I wonder what Dwayne Dedman is doing.
Call Tyrus Jones.
Maybe you call DeAndre Jordan. I don't know.
Monday. Let's talk about Monday.
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to.
I kind of wanted that.
No, we're gonna talk about this. Damn it! Look, man, I am not overly critical of James Borrego. I like James Borrego. I think he's a good fit for this young core. However, these self-destructing, losing 8-point leads.
Before you go into your rant, for the people who didn't watch on Monday, kind of explain what happened on Monday so they get a picture of why you are the way you are.
We're up by 7 with
a minute
and
a half, maybe.
And we lose the lead again. This is the third time that something like that has happened this season. I don't give a damn how young and how, quote unquote, untalented your team is. It's unacceptable. And to me, it goes back to coaching. I'm not going on some overreactive rant saying get rid of the guy and he sucks and I don't like him, blah, blah. I'm not doing all that. I'm simply saying something needs to be fixed. If I am Mitch, I have a little sit down with JB and say, why is this particular thing happening so much? I don't mind the loss to the New Jersey Nets on Friday. Those are the kind of losses I don't mind. They're a better team. They have more talent. We just lost to a better team. Okay. Golden State, it was what it was. They poor Golden State. They have nothing to work with. God bless them. The joke's gonna be on all of us next year when they get the number 1 pick. By the way,
it will be.
It's gonna be really
but
bad.
you have a Phoenix Suns team who comes in struggling. You get what I'm saying? The table's out on them. We're supposed to win a game like that, especially when you're up by that many points with that little time, and you basically gave them the game.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask everybody a question. Does this benefit us in the long run, just losing this game?
No.
Ping pong ball?
No, listen. Let me tell you about the ping pong balls. Rodney, we just saw the Lakers last year get the number 4 pick, man. Come on now. Like,
So basically, so you say if we lost one more game, we would have got the number 4 pick? I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I don't think it really helps us because even with the way that they're losing games, they're proving that they can still compete. And what's going to happen? These games that they're losing right now, they're going to be winning these games in a couple of months, and we're still going to be right there at that
10th.
25 to 30 win mark. I'm speaking into existence, and we're still going to sit there and we're still going to pick.
But Vince, the analytics said when you play back to back, there's a 28% chance and the 37% tile that we're going to lose the game.
Listen,
so real quick, I got a question. Wasn't this same thing happening under Clifford?
The same exact thing was happening.
I remember,
but not these type of losses. Now, these type of losses were not happening.
I got 3 words. The Miami game. Y'all know what game I'm talking about.
Okay, that's once. That's one time.
But it happens enough to make me think that because the coach can only tell his guys in those situations, hey, you got to be alert. You got to. And in that Monday game, that was the Bulls game. That was the Zach LaVine.
No, that was last week. That was
another. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
there's so many of them.
Yeah,
you're getting mixed up.
There's three that happened.
But we always see the same breakdowns from the same players, and it's. I mean, I don't know what else Coach can do.
I know what he can do.
Sit them.
Well, there's that. But how about you draw up a damn inbound play that's going to get the ball in bounds? Number one,
they have to execute. They have to execute.
But dude, from my eye test, when you lose like that 3 times in the season, it looks like you're not prepared at all. That's the way it looks. I don't know what JB's saying in that huddle. I don't. Maybe he said all the right things, but as a fan from the outside looking in, it looks like
Jamal
you totally
Jordan,
did
let me
not.
ask you a question.
Yes.
When you were 22, 23 years old, did you listen to everything somebody older told you to do?
Of course I did.
Look, speaking of being prepared, I'm gonna bring up another topic that we have beat this entire season. Okay,
let's beat it again.
So Terry Rozier,
hi dead horse.
Career shooter. Wait, 32, 33%.
Yeah,
38%.
The stats don't matter.
This season he is shooting 44% from the field. However,
that must not be right.
However, the last 3 games that we're talking about, Phoenix, Golden State, and Brooklyn, he has shot 56, 50, and 57% from the field. These are actually the only 3 games the entire season that he's shot above 50%.
Right.
So, anomaly or signs for the future?
It's signs for the future, and I'm going to tell you why. Not just because I said this, because I said last week I think he is trending upwards, okay? I'm going to go back to our favorite guy ever, Mr. Kemba Walker, who was not a good shooter his first 2 seasons in Charlotte at all. Teams would go under screens every chance they could and let him shoot an outside shot. I'm not saying Terry Rozier is going to be Kemba Walker.
Devontae Graham is.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but I just see the same upward trend that I saw with Kemba Walker back here. It's a guy that worked very hard on his shot in the offseason. I've seen plenty of video that prove that, and it's showing improving in itself in these games lately.
Those summer videos don't work, man. You see how Melo's played before.
I'll admit, when I saw the video of Terry Rozier shooting shots, I got a little excited because it was like, oh my God, Terry Rozier is having such an intense workout. When I go look at the video and he's just doing hook jump shots, like.
But
was so special
listen, whatever the case is, he obviously worked on his shot, and it's obviously paying off right now.
Yeah. So what you got, Rodney?
Like I've been saying, the consistency with the playing time. And I hate to say this, he's not a true point guard.
Which is fine. Which ain't really a big deal.
So basically, that whole responsibility on his shoulders of running the complete offense might have been just a little bit too much for him too soon. And so Graham is more of a natural point guard. He sets people up better and allows Terry to move off of screens and picks and get open jump shot. Like his catch and shoot percentage is very high.
So Terry is turning into a very nice catch and shoot 3-point shooter.
The argument should no longer be 2 things. One, whether or not Terry Rozier is good. He's a good player. I don't think anybody can argue that. And the argument should no longer be whether he's worth his contract.
I'm glad you said that.
So the argument should be, is this sustainable long term?
Right.
This particular 2-guard setup that we are running.
And I think that's a fair question.
I do think it's a fair question. I know we joke a lot in a Hornets group about the advanced analytics and whatnot, but I do think that is a fair point. This is an unorthodox backcourt. Yeah. Even though we're shooting better than any other team in the leagues, which is amazing, but to have 2 undersized guys in your backcourt is a little bit unorthodox. So it just remains to see how effective it is.
We got to get better at that front court. Speaking of, everybody's lovable player, Mr. Nic Batum. Let me explain to you guys the anomaly that
Producer,
he is.
do you have blood pressure medicine available?
So I went and looked up his stats the other day to try to find some sort of correlation to the Hornets' win and losses with his play, and they're literally all over the place. When he plays only 11 minutes a game, we sometimes win, we sometimes lose. When he plays 30 minutes a game, we sometimes win, we sometimes like there is no discernible stat that you can relate to Nic Batum and say this is when we lose and this is when we win, except the plus or minus.
Oh boy,
the dreaded plus or minus. So when Nic Batum has a net positive plus or minus, the Charlotte Hornets are 4-2 on the season. When he has a net negative plus or minus, the Hornets are 1-6. And I can't remember, I think it was like 11 games. In the 11 games that Nic Batum missed, the Hornets only went 4-7. So with as much as we hate Nic Batum, what comes to your mind when you hear those stats?
Here's what comes to my mind, and it's the perfect culminate. It's the perfect explanation as to why Nic Batum is so frustrating, because he has the tools. He has it. He's a skilled player, but he just doesn't bring it every night. That's it. All those stats you just threw out, that's the simple explanation right there. You get what I'm saying? When Nic Batum is aggressive, when he's actually making his shots, when he's actually looking to take his shots, it helps the Hornets. When he actually decides he wants to play defense and rebound, we win games. But it just doesn't happen enough. And that is the frustrating story about Nic Batum and his salary.
I know he got his ass with a lot as a child. he deep. What's the French word? Laissez-faire?
Laissez-faire.
Like he's just like so tired of the French pastry. It's just like he's just like, yeah, I think I'll play today. He'll miss it. Like it's just so frustrating. Just move on.
And you know, and here's the frustrating part about Nic Batum. Last week on our pod I said I don't care if he goes 0 for 10. I would be happy that he's being aggressive and shooting the ball. That's how low the bar is right now. And I can't remember which game it was. I want to say it was the Phoenix game. That was a game he got hurt, right? Where he re-aggravated the finger.
Right.
He took 2 shots.
I hurt my finger that game too.
5 minutes.
He took 2 shots that game. And neither of those shots were 3-pointers. They were both inside the 3-point line. And I think one was a drive and he pulled up and he hit both of them. And I'm like, this is what I'm asking for. If Nic just shoots the ball, he has the skill to hit.
Listen, man. I want to go back to something. I want to go back to a time where he first joined us, and it was right before he got his money. What happened? I just want to know. What Nic Batum, if you can contact Under Construction and let us know, is it
block us?
Is it mental? Is it physical? Because I specifically remember we used to run so many plays for Nic Batum coming off screens. He was excellent in the screen and roll with Cody. He was so involved in our offense, and we were so much of a better team when he actually cared and when he was productive. And we have been asking for this Nic Batum back for like 3 years now. We're probably not ever gonna get it again, man. I just want to know what happened, man.
Yeah,
I think the pressure got to him. I mean, you're the highest paid player on your team, and you are a highly sought after free agent. Something that a lot of Hornets fans
don't want to acknowledge.
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
Everybody wanted Nic Batum on their
like
team.
25 teams,
right? And he.
I wish Dallas signed him.
Me too. Man.
So he comes to the Hornets, and now you make more money than the best player on your team suddenly. He made way more money than Kemba. That's a lot of pressure, and I think that he just couldn't handle it.
The pressure really got
I think he likes to be laissez-faire, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you can make it work. But in his case, it just it's like, dude, you get paid $25 million a year. You can't be skinny Boris Diaw. So
much.
I think that's all it was. We've seen that a lot from players. They get paid, they get that contract.
Don't get me started on Boris Diaw.
Yeah, well, hopefully he decides to turn the corner at some point, because I'm gonna remain true to the belief that this team is a lot better than what predicted, and maybe they can make some noise later on. But before we close it out, we got to do our weekly predictions. So the Hornets on Tuesday will be taking on the Washington Wizards, and then they turn around and play Brooklyn again Wednesday night before playing in Chicago and then wrapping up on Sunday versus the Pacers. So what do you guys got?
1 win.
1 win.
Yeah.
Who's the win?
I think the Wizards.
Bulls.
The Bulls?
Yeah.
You kind of have to go with the Bulls because we won, 11 straight? So you kind of have to go with them.
I'm going to go out there on the limb. You got 5 games this week. Are we including today?
No, we're not including
Not
today.
including today?
Nope. So we got 4 next week.
I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1. Rodney, if they go 3-1 next week, I will bring you lunch the next time that we record because I have been positive for like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
That's why I'm not positive.
And
this
they
week.
keep disappointing me.
Well, maybe it's my turn to be positive, and I'm the good luck charm.
Okay, well, and if that's the case, then
I'm not being positive.
we got some stuff because I'm only going with 1 win.
Currently, we're down 11-8 to the Atlanta Hawks in the first quarter.
Kaza, predictions, man.
I'm gonna play it safe 2-2. I think we get Brooklyn this time because I think Kyrie's gonna be back, and I think we win that with Kyrie Irving on the court. Hey, I'm just being serious.
ISO.
Yeah, and I think we get Chicago. I think the Zach LaVine shot is gonna no one's gonna forget that. So I think we get those 2.
Yeah, and my bad because when Jamal gave a prediction for that, he think we would be Chicago. I actually said that we've beat them 11 times, and we haven't beaten them 11 times. I was actually thinking about Detroit. So for all of you listening on YouTube that are always coming with your corrections, I got you this time, all right? But real quick, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our culture, our shout-outs, and then we'll see you in a few. And we're back. All right, welcome back, y'all. We are going to wrap this up with our culture segment. So another topic that we've been discussing a lot over these last couple of months is soccer versus baseball. I think, Rodney, you prefer to get a baseball team here over the soccer team.
That was me. That was me.
I was indifferent.
You was a little bit indifferent?
I'm totally more MLB than...
Well, sorry to hear that,
Yeah,
but news came out this week that Charlotte will be the next city to get a Major League Soccer team. So give me your initial thoughts on that, Rodney.
Extortion.
Extortion?
Wow.
Let me explain.
Wow.
So what's going to happen on December the 17th is the day that they plan to make the official announcement.
That's the day after my birthday, y'all. Just throwing it out there. Cash out Vince Dunlap.
Mine is the 12th. And you can hit me up on Facebook, and I'll send you my wife's cash up because I don't believe in that electronic stuff. So it's all pending the city council giving them $100 million to retrofit a soccer stadium, the soccer specific things within Bank of America Stadium. And Tepper has been kind of publicly talking about a stadium on the Piper Foundry land, and that's going to be $1 billion. So we're going to pay $100 million, the taxpayers. It's coming from the tourism fund. Okay, cool. So we're going to pay $100 million to update the stadium, and then 5 years from now, we're going to be asked to give $600-700 million to a billionaire, the richest owner in the NFL.
By far. For a new stadium. Via indoor. I mean, albeit it's indoor. But, Tepper, you can build it yourself, man. At this point, man, now,
you're leaking us.
Now, what will be the return on investment for the city? Have you seen anything of that nature?
I mean, a lot of people that I know say there's no real return other than civic pride, but
I don't believe that.
I mean,
I just don't believe that.
You get a couple extra concerts. You get a nice Beyonce concert every now and then. Get your Garth Brooks. Other than that, I mean,
yeah, I would imagine that if I'm shelling out all this money for a new stadium, a new team, there has to be something coming back the other way.
So let me ask you a question. So if you're somebody that lives in Charlotte, you're a millionaire. You obviously pay more taxes. So you don't care for sports at all. You're not particularly into music. You're into Beethoven and all classical music. So how does a soccer team, a football team, and Beyonce and Elton John, how do they benefit you? That's an honest question.
Well, to be fair though, nothing benefits anyone directly from a monetary standpoint. It's just one of those things. We all want our city to be on the map. We all want Charlotte to be a world-class city, and this is how you get there, by adding professional sports teams. Because lest we forget, The city, we didn't even want the Charlotte Bobcats to come back. We voted Time Warner Arena down, and the city knew better. The city said, you know what? It's probably a good idea for us to have a professional basketball team in Charlotte again, and they went ahead and improved building the stadium. So it's just one of those things. It's like for those of you working in corporate America, you know what a CapEx is, capital expenditure. That's what it is, capital expenditure. You got to spend that money so that over the long term, you bring better recognition to your city. And I think that's what this is important. Me, I'm kind of with Jamal. I'd rather have a Major League Baseball team just because, you know, that's one of the four majors. MLS is not quite there yet. But having said that, we know that Charlotte teams will come support it because it's new and shiny. Right. You know, we have the demographics here to support it.
Right.
You know, from what I understand, our soccer infrastructure isn't as good as like Raleigh's, but yeah, that's just what I've heard. But at the same time, we offer other things in economic and logistical infrastructure that Raleigh cannot, and that's big. And MLS is looking at that. So I think that's important for people to know. I agree with Rodney's point that, dude, you're a millionaire. Come on, you can pay for this. But at the same time, why would he?
Yeah, exactly.
Rodney, let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
What does every person who has $1 billion want?
Something for free.
$2 billion.
Another $1 billion.
Another $1 billion, yeah.
So, I mean, I get your point about extortion, but man, I don't have any faith in quote unquote trickle down economics, so to speak. So I don't. It's not like I was ever expecting like civilians, so to speak, to really benefit from this financially. But as far as the new shiny toy coming to Charlotte, it's cool. It's exciting. I'm going to try to go check out a few games. I'm not a hardcore soccer guy, but anything.
There's soccer matches, by the way, not games.
Oh, okay.
There's
that
matches.
lets you know how much I care.
It's 2 halves, 45 minutes apiece.
Yeah, run the clock.
No, but like Kaza alluded to, man, anything that can raise the profile of Charlotte, I'm all for it, man. I just wish that one day that we would add something that would change around the horrible economic mobility of brown folks in this city. But
now, I'm kind of glad you leaned into that because I wanted to ask you guys as far as location. I know that BOA, Bank of America Stadium, will be initially where they play at. Well, there's been a lot of conversation that the stadium may be built at the old Eastland Mall area. So if that is the
dope.
That would be awesome.
I think that'd be dope, man.
Actually, the headquarters for the soccer team will be built there, like the corporate offices.
Okay.
But they will continue to play uptown, whether it be the new arena or BOA.
Yeah.
Still, even just the headquarters in that area of town would be a great economic boom because you're going to put all those jobs there. Those people are going to want to go shop and eat. You're going to build that commerce up there. I think that's a great idea.
Especially make Eastland great again.
Especially because it's been such an eyesore the last 15 years.
Agreed. So let me ask you guys this then. If that's the case, if you only put the headquarters in Eastland Mall and you play at Bank of America Stadium, does the soccer team stay in Bank of America Stadium when the Panthers move down to the state border?
They're not moving like Tampa.
No, they'll just tear that down.
Like soccer. The soccer stadiums prefer a downtown location. That's what they all prefer. So Tepper has even said he's talked about the pipe and foundry land across the street from BOA. That's already done. Like if he's talking about it. He has the
definitely got the cachet and the cash to get it
done.
The
cachet pool, it's done. Like the city actually bought the land from Pipe and Foundry, so that's city-owned land. And so basically, when in 5-6 years when he comes begging for a new stadium, so basically, I honestly believe the state is going to give him money, the city of Charlotte, the county, and he might chip in $300 million.
So
get a stadium.
So. Leave all the logistics and the economics aside. Where would you like to see the soccer stadium?
Eastland Mall.
Eastland Mall?
Yeah.
Yep, Eastland.
I would say North Charlotte. Like
okay.
Eastland Mall.
Eastland. It's more. Yeah.
Northeast.
It's more north. Yeah.
I would say like honestly, I would say like where tear down somewhere Northlake is.
But East Charlotte has a better demographic for soccer.
For
it
soccer,
just does. We have a large Latino population. Latino.
South Boulevard.
Yeah, well, but not like East Charlotte. You play there, and then you're just gonna really boost that economy and that demographic a lot there. So that's why.
Yeah. And here's the one thing that I'm a little sketch about this entire situation. If you move the soccer stadium, or if you bring the soccer team to East Lamar, it's going to be awesome because of the Hispanic population that they do have over there. But the one thing that is inevitable will be gentrification.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
But who's to say that's not coming anyway, man?
I don't think it would be as impactful. It won't be as fast. If you bring a soccer stadium there, like, you'll see a lot of people moving in, and there's gonna be a lot of people moving out.
No, there'll be a lot of people getting pushed out.
Getting pushed out, exactly.
So that's living in Monroe now,
right? Annapolis
County.
Yeah. no offense. Anson County,
Rock Hill.
Oh man, but all right, y'all. So we're gonna wrap this up with our shout out. So Jamal, I'm gonna let you go first.
Do I have anybody to shout out this week?
You can say
man,
no.
You know everybody, man.
You can say no because I think me and Rodney got some heat for our shout outs.
Well, no, I do have someone to shout out. I'm going to keep mine very, very short and very simple. Yesterday would have been my mother's 69th birthday. She'd kill me for saying the age, but happy birthday, Mommy. Love you. Keep it at that.
Good stuff. All right, so I got a shout out and a shout at. Okay, so my first shout out will go to Miss Pinky Cole. And a lot of you guys know who she is, but you know her by the owner of the Slutty Vegan.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Get your mind out the gutter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Miss Cole, owner of the Slutty Vegan, she vowed to pay off the tuition for 30 seniors who will be graduating this year from Clark Atlanta University.
Down in Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to give her a shout out about that. Okay, so good stuff on there. So my shout at goes to a Mr. Ronnie Richardson. So you guys, hey, we're all friends. We're all on social media. We see each other's stuff that we post on social media. And on Thursday, I don't know what happened, but I know what happened. Jay-Z released his discography on
Spotify.
No. Let me have this.
The disclaimer: Jay-Z is a GOAT to me.
Okay. That is more than 5. Rodney updated his status, and he made 3 statements. And here's what Rodney said. He said, 1, the Jay-Z was horrible on the Ha remix. I actually don't even know what the Ha remix is.
Juvenile.
Okay.
With that new beat.
I never even heard of that. I didn't know he did a Ha remix. Okay, cool.
That's how bad it was.
Secondly, he said that Kendrick Lamar was terrible on the Mask Off remix. And third, he said Pimp C washed Jay-Z and Bun on Big Pimpin', and Jigga should be eternally grateful to UGK for blessing him. I actually agree with that. I actually agree with number 3. But we got to go back to this number 2. Rodney, how dare you disrespect the great Kendrick Lamar?
Actually, I got to reverse. I agree with Kendrick Lamar and the Mask Off remix, and I disagree with Big Pimpin'.
Kendrick Lamar's verse on the remix is the only reason I'm able to tolerate that song.
No.
And,
he shouldn't even got on the song.
How do you say?
He shouldn't have got on the song.
What was so terrible about it?
He does not fit. Him and Future should not make music together.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
They should not make music. I like both of them independently. They should not make music.
That song was awesome, man. How do you and on the day that Jay-Z releases his music, how do you even think to talk about Kendrick? Like, how do you connect that?
Let me tell you why.
Vince.
Because I saw an argument on Twitter. Somebody said Jay-Z has the greatest solo hip hop discography ever, and I'm like, huh? And I'm like, and my man Fonte was like, Scarface would like a word with you, which is true.
Go ahead.
I think Kendrick has a great solo discography, and also think Kanye, despite all his troubles, has a great solo discography, and Ghostface and a couple other people. I'm like, oh, Jay-Z released a discography. I listened to Jay-Z on December 4th. I listened to UGK. That's the day Pimp died. And I'm like, let me tell some truth. Don't do that.
No, the people need to hear this. The people need to hear this.
We'll go, Rodney.
Go, Jamal. What you got? What you got?
No, you want to finish, right?
Okay, so the reason why I said that he should be eternally great for the UGK, a lot of people were not listening to
I agree with that.
UGK opened the door for the South. UGK and Juvenile opened the door to a lot of people to be exposed to
I'll just say this. There's a reason that was Jay-Z's song featuring UGK. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I love UGK. I still got the CDs with the cases in the back.
Real quick caveat. Are you guys familiar with the boomerang function on Instagram?
Yes.
UGK and that video started boomerang. Go back and watch that and so like I don't know if they've tried to talk to Mark Zuckerberg, but I think they should be trying to get a little bit more.
And then on top of that, Jay-Z, I went to a Jay-Z concert. That Pimp C verse was so dope. Jay-Z stopped the music and rapped the whole verse himself, and the crowd was bouncing with it. Like Pimp C watched him on the verse.
I thought Bun B's verse was better, actually.
Vince, I have something to share with you.
All right, Jamal, what you got?
You did this to yourself, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. So, our brother Rodney Richardson, on an unrelated note, Rodney Richardson is the same dude that said 8 Ball and MJG has a better catalog than Mobb Deep.
They do, and Mobb Deep is boring. I would die on that hill.
Hey, you did then.
I would die on that hill.
And after he said that, I said, I'm no longer talking about hip hop with Rodney Richardson ever again. This is your fault. You did this to yourself, man.
I would die on that hill. I don't care.
Yeah, we're gonna have to address this one again. Dead. And I don't even consider myself a hip hop head like that. I got into the game crazy.
And they did it right. I think Prodigy was a dope rapper by himself. I think Prodigy.
I'm not really even listening.
I'm not doing this.
I'm waiting for a shout out. Yeah.
I'm
not to discuss.
I refuse to do this today.
So these haters can close their ears because they're 40 plus. I'm 39 and wait for plus one. So they close their ears. So I'm going to get into my shout out.
Which means we've been listening to hip hop a lot longer. Go
ahead. You're like 5 years older than me. Come on.
Go ahead, man.
So I'm going to give a shout out to John McKissick from Somerville. He recently passed away at the age of 93 or 94. He's the winningest coach at any level of football ever. He was 621 and 155 and 13. He won 10 state championships at Somerville and won the region 37 times. Wow. He passed away. My condolences to your family. And then also I want to give a shout out to Clemson.
Of course.
We're the most disrespected
defending national champions ever.
We destroyed Virginia.
That was expected.
The 2013 Florida State Seminoles would like a word with you. Go ahead. Shut up.
Look, we won the 5th straight ACC title. We own the ACC. That is our conference. We would like some more competition. I'm just giving that out to all the other schools. I want to see North Carolina, Virginia Tech succeed next year because I would like a more interesting game. Oh, okay. And finally, Florida State doesn't matter. And finally, here's my shout out.
Enjoy it while it lasts, sir.
Oh, I am. I'm soaking it in. This is my shout out. My shout out. So I was scrolling on Facebook a few days ago, and somebody said, "You guys share your shit too much."
Ooh, wow.
Let me stand up for this one.
Blindside.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. So me as a black man, I promote my stuff. We promote our stuff because ain't nobody gonna promote the shit for us. We struggle to get sponsors. We struggle to get viewership. We struggle to get everything. We work double as hard to get what we have now. I'm not apologizing for nothing. I'm going to share the hell out of our shit.
Absolutely.
Damn right.
Yep.
And so, screw you if you don't like it.
Keep scrolling.
Plain and simple. Screw you if you don't like it. I'm going to continue to share our stuff. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you've been in a big market and heard an African American voice that was not an ex-player?
I agree.
I'll wait for it.
I agree.
Our voices matter too, goddammit.
There you go.
And that's all I got to say. Kazi, you have any shout-outs, brother?
This is a silly shout-out, But I want to shout out Werner Herzog, the actor, for convincing Disney to use a puppet for Baby Yoda instead of CGI. That was they actually were going to replace the stand-in puppet that they had on the set with some crappy CGI, and he apparently he's like, I'm not gonna do this anymore if you guys get rid of the puppet. And shout at for Disney for not realizing, apparently they didn't think Baby Yoda was gonna be that popular, so there are no toys for Christmas. If you order any now, they won't come till February. Wow. So Disney missed a big opportunity to swim in oceans of cocaine for the next few years by, I don't understand.
So, but okay, now off topic, and I know our shout outs is like going in like all different directions. It's all good. Cool. The Mandalorian is a dope show. If you have not watched The Mandalorian, go play.
I think it's the best Star Wars property in a long time. Yeah.
And I'm not even a fan of Star Wars. I know for a fact that I'm watching this show and I am missing out on Easter eggs because I'm not that much of a fan. However, how is it that Baby Yoda is so like? I get it.
I've seen the memes and everything now.
I don't. You know what? So, anything baby. We look at Baby Groot a few years ago, and that was like the new thing. So you take an iconic character like Master Yoda, and then you just make him a cute little baby.
And you make him 300 million years younger.
Y'all,
yeah, exactly. And
I just thought of a shout out and a shout at I want to do. I want to shout out to Baby for the SNL performance. And and I have a shout at y'all. Let's wrap this up so I can go watch the Hornets game, please. God, y'all.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We're going to wrap this up. And we're going to promote our shit, goddammit.
Yeah, all day. And thank you for everybody who actually does support us and shares our stuff and gives us props and gives us constructive feedback and has supported us from day one. Shout out to y'all and the hell with the haters. Peace.
And we'll see y'all next week on that note, y'all. Let's keep pounding, all fly.
Whatever. Yeah.
All the other slogans too. Yeah.
Go Tigers!